Now, where where we started with the other people was how they became associated with the band, and I guess they were talking about how A&T or
I guess my
Bro was doing the recruit. He was doing the recruiting. Now, where did you come into the picture? Were you at A&T or?
I guess my story began sort of in between high school and the actual recruiting process.
Uh-huh.
When I heard about the recruitment of people for the band, I was just finishing up high school.
Mm-hmm.
So I was sort of in between schools.
Now, what high school was that?
James B. Dudley.
Okay,
James
so
B.
you were
Dudley.
one of the guys from Dudley.
That's right.
All right, and Parsons was your band director, is that right?
Parson was the band director.
Right.
I had played in the band at Dudley, and Parson was the band leader. Okay. And I was in between, as I said, I had been just gotten out of high school between February and well, I had graduated from high school. And so my future plans were indefinite. I was trying to find out, just say, where should I go?
Right.
I wasn't very loaded with money, so I had sort of ruled college out, and I was working at the time, had a part-time job, and was working at one of the department stores in Greensboro. And that's when I heard through the grapevine about the recruitment for this all-black Navy band. I'm not too sure as to whether it was told that the band ultimately would be in Norfolk, but anyway, those things didn't really concern me. I was just interested in the Navy. I was, told that it was to be a band in which the members of which would be near Greensboro for the duration. And I think that was the key word, for the duration, because the war being very hot at the time, it was a major concern that I would be sort of safe and would be there for the entire time of the war, because that was specified would be located in, it said Chapel Hill. I think Chapel Hill was the recruitment word too, and be there for the duration.
Now, Now, your instrument was
clarinet.
You're a clarinet player too.
Right.
Now, when did Parsons come into the?
Parsons was my band leader at Dudley.
Yeah, I know, but he came into the band too.
Oh well, I think that was well, it did come a step after the recruitment of the members, because they had, as I understood it, get the band together.
Yeah.
With the chosen Dudley being our recruiter.
Yeah.
Had arranged for the entire band.
Sure, to get your auditions and all that stuff.
Exactly.
And get it documented and all that.
And I guess together with the recruitment of people who were supposed to be among those from which the leader would be chosen, because there was Wall and Cole, all teachers,
Yeah.
And it was assumed that one of them would be the designated leader. But that's as far as I know. It was just a matter of what was going to happen to us, the recruits.
Now, what part of that whole operation excited you the most once you got back to Chapel Hill?
Well, the fact that the leader was going to be Parson.
And somebody you already knew.
Someone that I already knew, so that sort of gave me an easy feeling, you know.
Sure.
Everything's going to be all right. You know?
Sure.
So.
I know it was neat going down there with you guys to the building and all that a few years back.
Mm-hmm.
And the number of folks that really remembered the band was just fascinating to me. I know that your procedure, what you followed on a day-to-day basis, was what bands do, and of course what you saw last night is very much the ceremonial aspect of what a lot of the bands do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's too bad that they couldn't bring the whole show band so they could show the dance side of it. So you played clarinet, and you play saxophone too?
No, I did not play saxophone.
You didn't say play saxophone. So when they set up for that stuff, you were kind of not a part of that.
Right.
Uh-huh. So what else can you tell me about? So when you guys went to Hawaii, and you were in Hawaii for 18 months, did you get separated in Hawaii? I mean, was that where you were discharged? The band broke up there?
Well, the story in Hawaii, as I get it, is that the sending of the band, a 45-piece band, to a one naval base was sort of.
They didn't have any bands that big out there.
That's right.
Yeah.
So from what I heard, on paper, the
complement was for 17 to 26
powers
pieces.
to be is
Yeah.
that since we had 45 pieces, was to paper-wise put two 21-piece bands or 22-piece bands on the base, Manana Barracks, as they called it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember any mentioning of two band leaders, but it was all under one leader. I don't know how they, you know.
Did the band actually get broken that way? Did that
I
happen?
think this is what they were saying on paper. We never did know anything about this.
Oh, so they only did it on paper, but you stayed together as
That's
a unit.
right. We stayed as a 44-piece band from that day on. You know, there was never any separation of sleeping quarters or.
Isn't that interesting?
And it was in order to keep the band together and so that they could work and play and rehearse.
Yeah.
Everything should.
Now you recall when your tour ran down, when I guess it was when the war was over, did you actually get discharged from out there? How did that happen? You recall?
Oh, well, the dismissal from the Navy, or when the war was over, put it that way, they used the same what they call it?
Discharge?
Discharge
Yeah.
procedures as they would do with any
Okay.
recruit.
Okay. So so in actuality, as the discharges occurred, the band was depleted.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. It was completely depleted, and as I said, it was only on paper at that point anyway, because the band was still functioning as a unit.
Yeah. Now, do you recall how it was that you got back together here for the reunions and all after the war was over?
Well, after the discharge of each person, they would return to their hometown.
Yeah.
And therein, they said goodbye to their former mates. And,
Yeah.
went about their.
Regular civilian business.
That's right.
Yeah. Now, how did you get together for reunions? Who started that going?
Oh, the reunion started. Oh, I think some 2 or 3 years after. They had all gotten out, and they decided to, formulate this
Yeah.
togetherness.
Now can you pinpoint who they was? You know who initiated that?
Now, I'm really a little hazy
Uh-huh.
on the person,
Yeah.
doing the contacting and saying, uh, I, get- I don't know, being so close together in civilian life, I think everybody knew just about everybody else as far as the leaders were.
Because a lot of people are from around in Greensburg, right?
That's right. That's right.
Okay. So when you came back, I mean, it's just like, hey, here's a whole group here, except we're not in the Navy now. And probably just talking together, and the decision was made to.
And the formulation of an organization that would include everybody, was, I think, performed by those who knew most of the people and suggested it.
Yeah.
Someone just, I think, suggested that
Yeah.
we all have a reunion.
Yeah.
I'm a little hazy.
That's
on
all right.
even the
That's
first-
all right.
even the
I
first
understand.
reunion.
Hey, I've done this with a lot of people. But I had somebody the other week and said, well, my memory doesn't exactly serve me. And hey, the only thing we're doing is we're picking up as much as we possibly can, and we'll piece this thing together piece by piece. And it doesn't look like Mason's going to get here, does it? Well, Mason did get here, so now we can just continue now that we have one more person added. And Roy was just talking through how his association began with this band. And now, Mason, since you're here, you can go ahead and tell us how you first heard about the band and signed up and all that business. And I'll inject questions as we go along as they're suggested. So the floor is yours.
Well, the first thing I remember about organizing the band was through Lanky Cole. He was the bandmaster at Hillside High School in Durham, North Carolina. C.E. Dudrow from the Navy, Department of the Navy, contacted him and wanted to find out about some musicians in the city of Durham and whether he would be interested in joining the band that was being formed in the state. The governor at the time was Melvin P. Broughton. He was contacted by the Department of the Navy about recruiting a band of the best black musicians in the state of North Carolina. Upon getting that information, it turned out that the president of North Carolina Central University, Fayetteville State, A&T, and C.C. Spalding, the president of North Carolina Mutual Life Insurance Company, were on the board to help create the band, or to get the band members together. From these institutions and from the contacts that were made, we found out that the Navy was going to create this band, go to Norfolk, Virginia for basic training, and return back to the North Carolina University of North Carolina to the pre-flight school, which at that time was very, very prevalent. Having not been in a position to see anyone in the Navy, whether the activity would be feasible or not. It turned out that the university had the opportunity to house us. We were housed in a building which is now the Hargrave Community Center. It's a stone masonry building. It was new at the time that we entered it, and the construction of the building was practically finished, but not finished entirely. So we stayed in Norfolk until the building was completed. And upon arriving in Chapel Hill, we were warmly greeted in the city of Chapel Hill at the time we arrived. We made it our business to stage a parade that day that we arrived and ended up in our new quarters, which were very, very nice. Everyone was happy and pleased with the facility. We marched from the Hargrave Community Center to the campus of the University of North Carolina daily, and returned back to our quarters in the afternoon.
Well, I know I was fascinated when I went down there with you guys. Someone that went when I went along with you had not been there when you were there previously. And I remember him walking in the building, and I'm kind of thinking it might have been Gilmer, but I'm not sure of that. But I know he walked in the building and he says, "Oh yeah, I remember this. See, the kitchen used to be in here," and he was walking around through there, and it was neat, just the ambiance of what was going on when we were there. I'm just so happy that I could have been a part of that. You know?
It was really a nice facility. We had a chef cook, and he had an assistant, which was a female. They cooked some delicious food, and they were just as nice to us as they could be. Everyone was pleased with their service.
Bill Denton on trumpet. Ray Dunaway on drums.
La 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 la.